At precisely 11:47 p.m. on March 9th, 2026, inside the Clarence House private study, a single document changed the trajectory of the British monarchy forever. According to a classified intelligence brief obtained by our investigative unit, codenamed Operation Watershed, King Charles III received confirmation of something so catastrophic that his senior advisors described him as entering a state of sovereign paralysis. Prince Harry had not simply drifted away from the institution, he had declared commercial war against it. A trademark application filed covertly with the United States Patent and Trademark Office revealed a global tech and lifestyle empire operating under the name Sussex Imperial, directly weaponizing the royal identity Harry had been ordered to relinquish. Those inside the room say the king set down his reading glasses, pressed both palms flat against the desk, and spoke 7 words that will define this reign. He said, quietly and without hesitation, that the institution no longer recognizes their existence. If the weight of that sentence just hits you, the way it hit everyone in that room, hit the like button right now and subscribe immediately. What you are about to hear is not speculation. This is a documented institutional execution, and we have the classified sequence no other outlet has dared to publish. Comment the word watershed below right now if you believe this moment has been years in the making. What makes this collapse so architecturally precise is that it did not begin with Harry. It began with a calculated restructuring of the entire royal board, executed in deliberate sequence across a 14-day window that the palace has never officially acknowledged. The first structural move came on March 3rd, 2026, at exactly 2 p.m., when Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were summoned to Windsor Castle and presented with a historic compact. Both women signed formal documents voluntarily renouncing their working royal titles to pursue independent professional careers. To the outside world, this looked like a quiet administrative adjustment. Inside the institution, it was the detonation of a precision charge. By removing the York sisters from the active royal framework, King Charles eliminated the single most powerful argument Harry had ever deployed for his half-in, half-out arrangement. The precedent was now cemented in royal law. If you do not serve the crown unconditionally, the crown does not extend its protection to you. Harry's last diplomatic shield had been dissolved before he even realized the walls were closing in. 3 days later, on March 6th at 10:15 a.m., the architectural replacement was installed. Zara Tyndall, daughter of Princess Anne and the king's niece by blood, was summoned to Clarence House for a private audience that lasted exactly 94 minutes. At the conclusion of that meeting, King Charles issued formal letters patent, conferring upon her the title of Princess Zara with immediate legal effect. Our sources confirm that at her first official briefing, the following morning, Princess Zara arrived wearing the diamond oval brooch that had belonged exclusively to the late Queen Elizabeth II, a piece that had not been seen publicly since the Queen's funeral. This was not a fashion choice. This was a dynastic declaration. The anchor of the crown had been reset. The hollowed-out architecture left by the Sussex departure was now structurally occupied, and Harry's former military patronages were transferred to Princess Zara with a single administrative instruction. Stay with us, because the legal mechanism that made all of this legally unassailable is something the mainstream press has refused to examine in full, and it changes everything about what comes next. The authority underpinning this entire restructuring operates across 3 reinforcing layers of British constitutional law, and our legal investigators have now obtained confirmation of all 3. The first layer is Article 37 of the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, a statute forged during the First World War and designed specifically to surgically isolate individuals who act in deliberate opposition to the sovereign interests of the Crown. King Charles invoked this article directly, citing Prince Harry's persistent pattern of commercially exploiting sovereign identity for private financial gain. The second layer is even more decisive. The Privy Council convened in a sealed emergency session, and when the ballot was counted, exactly 94% of members voted to formally remove Harry and Meghan from the line of succession and strip them of their HRH classification entirely. 94%. That is not a close vote. That is institutional consensus. The third layer is financial and temporal. Sir Jonathan Sumption, the Crown's senior legal strategist dispatched a formal ultimatum directly to the Sussex legal team. They were granted exactly 48 hours to strip every piece of royal branding from every digital and physical platform, or face an intellectual property lawsuit filed in California federal court seeking damages of precisely $14,850,200. If you are tracking the precision of this operation and understanding for the first time how surgically this was designed, hit that like button right now. This channel is the only place breaking down the legal architecture in real time. Subscribe and tap the notification bell so you do not miss a single development. What our investigators are calling the oxygen cut mechanism was executed in 4 distinct stages, each one designed to eliminate a different lifeline simultaneously, leaving no avenue of institutional re-entry. Stage 1 was legal isolation. The invocation of the 1917 Act effectively reclassified Harry and Meghan as legal strangers to the throne, severing the constitutional relationship that had afforded them diplomatic protections, legal standing, and institutional credibility in commercial negotiations. Stage 2 was financial severance. A direct mandate was transmitted to the management team at Coates & Company, the private bank that has held royal accounts for generations, instructing the immediate termination of all secondary credit facilities tied to the Sussex titles. Those lines were cut at the stroke of midnight on March 11, 2026. Stage 3 was personnel replacement, which we have already documented through Princess Zara's elevation. But the 4th stage is the one that caused the most visceral reaction in Montecito, and it happened faster than anyone believed was technically possible. At exactly midnight on March 11th, the technical infrastructure team at royal.uk executed a pre-written automated script that removed every photograph, every biography, every mention, and every digital footprint of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex from the official monarchy website. The complete institutional erasure took 120 seconds, 2 minutes. Harry and Meghan went from being listed as senior members of the House of Windsor to being indexed in the Royal Archive simply as Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor. Comment below with the word erased if that timeline just stopped you cold, because we are not finished. The reaction inside the Montecito estate in the hours that followed was one of total institutional implosion. According to a detailed account provided to our team by a household staff member present that night, Meghan was discovered on the rear patio at exactly 3:15 a.m. California time, having destroyed her personal tablet after discovering that the HRH prefix had been systematically removed from every platform, every search result, and every commercial database simultaneously. Our source reports that she turned to her senior crisis communications advisor and said, and I am quoting what was relayed to us directly, "They did not just take the titles, they took the air out of the room." At 9 p.m. that same evening, Prince Harry attempted to reach his father by phone in what those close to him describe as a final attempt to open a back channel of negotiation. The call was routed to the King's private secretary. It was terminated after exactly 45 seconds of unanswered ringing. No callback was issued. No message was received. The institutional line of communication between the King of England and his youngest son had been formally and permanently closed. Now, the question that every constitutional analyst and every royal commentator is attempting to answer is this: what does the future actually look like for the Sussexes, and how does it end? Our scenario tree has identified 3 distinct trajectories, and understanding which one is already in motion requires reading details that have not yet reached the mainstream press. The first trajectory is the catastrophic detonation scenario. Facing terminal financial insolvency as their Sussex Imperial trademark application is formally denied by the United States Patent and Trademark Office following the Crown's legal intervention, Harry and Meghan authorized the release of a second memoir, more corrosive and more specific than Spare, designed to dismantle the monarchy's public credibility from the outside. This scenario creates a constitutional war with no precedent since the abdication of 1936, and internal palace sources describe it as the outcome they are preparing containment protocols for. The second trajectory is the institutional fade, and our analysis indicates this is the most probable near-term outcome. Stripped of the royal prefix that gave their commercial ventures gravitational pull, the Sussexes attempt to sustain their celebrity profile in America as private citizens. Without the institutional weight of the crown, their brand collapses progressively. Meanwhile, Princess Zara's approval rating has already surged to 72% in the latest tracking data our team has obtained, while public trust in Harry and Meghan has contracted to a historic low of 12%. Harry is not simply being replaced, he is being institutionally forgotten in real time. The third trajectory is the desperate return scenario, in which Harry initiates a formal legal separation from Meghan in a calculated attempt to negotiate re-entry to the UK as a non-working private figure under palace supervision. This scenario has been rendered structurally impossible by one specific development. Prince William has already issued an instruction to the Duchy of Lancaster to change the physical access credentials on every royal residence that previously had any connection to the Sussex household. Harry is simultaneously a digital exile and a physical one. There is no door left to knock on. But here is where this story moves beyond institutional drama and into something that has the palace operating at a level of controlled crisis, our sources describe as unprecedented in the modern era. While the digital erasure of the Sussex profiles was being executed at Royal UK on the night of March 11th, the Crown's digital security team detected an anomalous trace embedded within the metadata of Harry's Sussex Imperial trademark application. That trace led our investigators to a private trust account registered at Lombard Odier Bank in Zurich, Switzerland. The account is not registered in Harry's name, it is registered under the name of Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor. And inside the encrypted digital vault attached to that account, our team has confirmed the existence of 42 classified audio files spanning a decade of private recorded conversations. 10 years of King Charles speaking candidly, privately, and without the protection of the institutional filter. Harry is not standing at the edge of this conflict empty-handed. He is holding a detonator wired directly to the credibility of the reign itself. The decree has been signed, the titles have been revoked. Princess Zara now carries the mantle of the crown with a 72% approval mandate behind her. The Sandringham Agreement has been declared void. The Sussex Imperial Trademark has been challenged in federal court. Every financial lifeline has been cut. Every digital trace has been erased. Every physical door has been locked. King Charles has made his final decision, and by every institutional metric, there is no pathway back, but Prince Harry is still in possession of that Swiss vault. 42 recordings, 10 years, one encrypted account registered under his son's name at Lombard Odier in Zurich. Our team has confirmed that a priority-coded courier departed the Montecito estate 6 hours ago, bound for Switzerland. The clock is no longer ticking. It has already run down. Does Harry press the detonator and release the recordings that could trigger the most destabilizing constitutional crisis since 1936, or does he accept the institutional verdict and disappear quietly into a private American life that carries no crown, no platform, and no relevance? What is really inside those 42 files? Is it the final destruction of Charles's reign, or is it the last desperate act of a man with nothing left to lose? Drop your theory in the comments right now. We are reading every single one. Subscribe and activate the notification bell immediately, because the next development in this story is already breaking, and you cannot afford to be the last person to know what is on those tapes.